Well, good morning, good afternoon or good evening to wherever you might be, and welcome to Winning Ways, your favorite racing program. We've got a superb program because we've got a follow-up to Monty Roberts. He was very, very well received last week, and a number of trainers phoned me and said that they're going to teach their staff to do join-up. First thing that they're going to do before they break in any horse, join up. Hugely
Monty
important.
Roberts did a good job with the Springboks.
Yeah.
They joined up.
Yeah, they joined up.
They joined up in defence.
Okay, but I just want to talk about your call. Just we're going to show...
With the Springboks?
No. Your call, we're going to show Monty Roberts working on a horse called Lomatas.
Oh, yes.
Now, Lomatas was the sire of Silvana.
Correct.
Okay, who's the champion
German.
stallion, yeah. Yeah. And you see this horse not going in the stalls. It would not go near
He was a good horse, wasn't
Let's
he?
hear the story. And watch him, and then watch when Monty Roberts gets hold of him. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's an amazing man, eh?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is what should happen at all the starts. South Africa, you should have people like this in charge.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, we wouldn't have any problems.
We've got a couple of good horse whisperers too. You know.
We have.
The
But
Dormini.
they
What's
should be
the
in
Dormini's
charge.
name?
Milan.
Milan. Yeah, he's very good. The Dormini.
Yeah, and the polo cross player.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Jim, let's talk sport now.
Well, firstly, I want to get the bad stuff out the way.
What are the bad stuff?
Tottenham. What
Not
happened?
good enough.
Boy, your home team, home side,
Not good
home
enough.
game,
Not good
home
enough.
everything.
Not good enough. You're not listening. Not good enough. I watched the game. The better side won. Funnily enough, was a penalty at the death. The ref was unsighted. They showed you the ref trying to run from one side of the box to the other. Completely unsighted.
What's wrong with the linesman?
He's got also a bad angle. But everyone knew it was a penalty except three people, you know. And they were the Liverpool coach, the linesman and the ref. But having said that, Liverpool outplayed us. They were better than us. We were never at the races. We only came right when Lamela came on and Song came on. And I don't know what it is, but the policy of not purchasing is backfiring on them. Some of their players look like they're jaded. So it looks ominous, like we're in a battle for top four game. We're still going to be a good side. Our new stadium's been a balls up, so that hasn't helped anybody. But the other teams, there's now only 2 unbeaten teams, with Everton having lost.
That was the result of the weekend, the best result of the weekend. West Ham giving Everton.
Gave them a good smack.
A good smack.
They played well.
Yeah.
They played well away from home.
They played like a home side.
Yeah, they did. They played very well. Man United trying to rev their engines. Arsenal trying to rev their engines. Chelsea and Liverpool both unbeaten. Well done to both of them. They're both playing very good football. Man City are ominous just in the wings. So it's going to be a lot of things happen in the next 3 games. They'll be locking horns with each other, and you'll find there'll be no unbeaten teams. There's 3 left. Yeah, Man City haven't lost yet. They've only drawn 1. But Everton hadn't lost before that. So very interesting for the league, and it's very good for the league.
All right, let's talk about someone who's never won, the Springboks.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance by them, absolutely, in their backyard. I remember speaking to Mac and to
Teichmann, you told us last
function.
week.
Yeah, and they're saying, you know, you can't get a result down there. And these guys went there. They played fantastically well. I thought the signs were ominous when we were 12-0 down after about 18 minutes. I thought it's going to be a whitewash. But they played well, James.
They played exceptionally well. They didn't just play well, they played exceptionally well. Because what they were quick up on the line. The defence was unbelievable. The last 10 minutes, the defence was incredible. Yeah. I think we were very lucky that Jack Goodhue didn't start. I think that made a big difference. He'd had flu or something during the week, and he's taken out of the starting line. I put it on the bench. When he came on, they looked a whole different side.
I think Clyde Basil could have got a couple of the kicks that the guy missed. Hit the post twice. He left 8 points in the table, but I'm not taking that away from him.
He was a good kicker. Eh?
I believe so.
He kicked for Rotherham.
Okay. Yeah, he was a kicker for Rotherham, I remember.
Kicked anyone that was on the ground.
Clyde Basil, the kicker. But James, hats off to them, a fantastic win. It's got us back going again. And the tests in this country, they'll get more people going now, and it'll be very interesting.
Can we win here?
Must have a chance after that. After that, we must have a chance. We've shown we can stand up to them. They seem to find an extra gear, but we've got to have a chance. I don't think it'll be 24-point spread again.
No, it certainly won't be. And that was an opportunity that a couple of my mates took full advantage of.
So they got the
well
money.
done to them.
I backed the RGs. I got the RGs plus 10.5.
RGs were certainties.
Yeah.
They were
Australia struggling.
Yeah.
They said we got our best players back. They were struggling. Their best players played well too. That fullback scored a great try.
Yeah.
But Pocock was involved in everything, but they're not good enough.
No, they've got a lot of weak links,
yes.
the Aussies. They're weak in a number of places. I think Scrum half Kenya looks like he's almost at the end of it.
He scored a great try the other day, so who knows?
And then certainly fly half, they've got a problem. Those are the two pivots. And I was very impressed with people knocked Faf de Klerk last week. I thought he was fantastic this week.
Brave man.
Yeah, and he tackles anyone.
Yeah,
no matter how big they are. And he took down a couple of those New Zealand
Again, we should have had situations, James, where getting back to ill-discipline. What that guy come on from the Bulls with the hair under his chin and hair on his head?
Ergia Snyman.
Yeah, Ergia. Why have all these scarps got initials for their names? Hey? They don't call him Paul Valentine, it's PV Lafferty.
They can't say the whole name. They imagine the scarps.
What's your second name, James?
Valentine.
What's your second name?
I haven't got a second name.
So you'll be Gia or Jire or whatever they call it. Goodman. Yeah. You look over the years, they've got they love giving them.
It's because they can't say the full name.
Yeah.
You know?
Jockeys. There's two MJs.
Yeah, MJ.
Vascops. Yeah, that's right. They like using their initials. Anyway, well done, Tim. I'm very proud to be a Springbok this week. Fantastic performance.
Very proud. Very proud to wear my jersey.
Yeah, me too. Came out of the mothballs and I'm proud.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got to move on. Remember, we've got Monty Roberts coming. You'll love this. Let's go and have a look at 3 to follow. Right, we go to Durbanville, and Durbanville, as you know, round the turn, and this was one of the best rides I've seen all season. In fact, I would give this a ride of the season for a horse that didn't win. Anthony Andrews, for his father, mother, the whole bloody team of them, they bred it, they own it, I think Craig Enion probably doesn't even train it. But certainly, they're all involved. And Anthony, I thought he rode an unbelievable race. Watch this horse closely and see how he gets it on the fence, 5 off the rail after they'd gone 100 meters.
5 off the lead, not 5 off the rail.
5 off the lead at least.
Yeah.
And then watch this horse run on. And really a fabulous run. Dharma is its name. Well worth putting in your book.
Yeah, here we go. It's drawn out deep, and it's got a lot to do here. And Anthony runs a very good race on this horse. And here they jump. Gets out well enough, and he sees that there are some struggling behind him, and his horse is quickly into stride. And he moves it over beautifully. This, as James says, is a fantastic bit of riding. Luck plays a big part. As they say, I'd rather be lucky than rich. And the luck played a big part. But the pace is on. It's a true run gallop for a change. Tighten it to bet up there. And the winner ready to rumbles up close, captain salute. But you can see in the pink silks where Anthony's got this horse.
Yeah, Tighten it to bet's leading it. That's had a couple of starts, shown a bit of pace. This was a very good win. And the first one of a double for the Van Rijn and Berger partnership, and well done to them. And he wrote a really good article in Turf Talk.
Liam Tarantel wrote them both, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay, now watch this horse. This horse now down the inside, now he starts coming out. He's behind them, got a right-handed stick. Now he's in the clear. He's moving up the sides of the horse with the green and white sleeves. He's got the pink colour. Now he puts the stick down and asks the horse to run. Then he keeps urging the horse. And the horse really starts running, but he starts lugging in. So he pulls the stick through in the left hand, and my goodness, this was close to winning. But, Dharma, certainly worth having a very close look at. We're going to go to the second race because this was a very big occasion for a small stable. You know, they're taking on all these horses by Sepoy, by you can't believe what these horses are by. Duke of Marmalades, a whole lot. They ended up with the horse that won this race as well. But let's go and look at the horse that ran third. This is in John Finlayson's colours, mate of ours from Joburg, and it's trained by the Snaith team and ridden by Bernard Fayed Hurd, Monona. You won't see much of this horse in the race. You'll see where it finishes. It's by Ideal World, so it's going to go a bit of a trip out of Blackman Lelouch mare and bred by Tenander Farm.
Yeah, here it is there. There you can see the colours. And Gets out not badly and gets pushed into the race here. I think it's Bernard Fade Herb, trying to get at a position, which he does. And there's a little bit of scrimmaging here because the fancied runners get up there. They want to be up there. And Celestial Storm, who ends up winning the race, decides to go. And in second, Cantata, Glenn Cotson's runner, gets into the race too. So they're the front two. The race is dominated from the front. The horse we found is in sixth in the green and yellow, and very green around the first part of the turn.
Yeah, certainly got a bit of ground to make up, and you'll see that it comes out in the straight. They turn for home. This is 1,250 meters. They turn for home, and it comes out for a run, and then ends up right on the inside. So watch where it comes out here, and you'll see that it runs a very, very good race. I think a stable companion runs fourth, which was Silvano's Pride. Now that's obviously going to go, that goes down the inside in the Anthony Peter colours. This horse is on the outside and making no progress at all at this stage.
Yeah, the Celestial Storm said, hi-ho Silver, it's gone. Cantata's chasing hard but not going to get there. And suddenly you'll see Monona come into view with Bernard and grabs third. Well done to Liam, he's keeping this one going in front. There it is, in third, Monona, remember the name.
Yeah, that was quite a nice run from a first-timer. We think that will improve, but this first-timer would be hard for you to find. In fact, it was hard for us to find. We go to the Vaal, race 3, and this was on Thursday. There's a 1,200 meter round the bend. Now remember that there was a track inspection after this. The track was found to be not in great shape, and I think this horse was all at sea because of the track surface, but certainly I thought ran a very, very good race. Jonathan by Judd-Pot out of Forgive No Forget, which is Darcy Barman, New Zealand bred mare. Winston Chow owns this and bred it. Mike the Cock trains it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, this is drawn deep, and it jumps well, but it has to obviously run wide because they're starting to fan out, and there's 5 of them on its inside, or 4 of them at the moment, keeping this horse out. And Randall Simons has to decide what to do. But as you see, it's always running wide, this horse, which certainly doesn't help. And another thing is, he gives it a clear run early in the stretch. It quickens up very well. But dumbness and greenness has had enough of the finish. This horse will improve a lot.
Yeah, if you watch it, you'll see it looks like it's going nowhere here. The winners are all well exposed down the inside of the track. You know, Bowcastle, African Magic, they're 4-year-olds, and they've had the experience. This horse hasn't got the experience. Starts moving up here under hands right, and you think, whoa, this is going to get there. And then when you see the angle change, now not really going anywhere, now starts going again, picks up. But not happy, this horse.
No, it's run wide, it's been green, but it showed its ability. It goes past Lawrence Werner's colours on that horse on its inside. And as he's had enough here, Randall leaves it alone, knowing there's more to come next time. And then Lawrence Werner's horse draws away from it to finish 5th. Be with this horse, Jonathan.
Yeah, we think that will improve quite a lot. It looked like there's a lot of things against it there, and you're certainly going to be able to get on next time. Right, what shouldn't happen? Well, who can blame that poor horse? You know, but you get hungry when there's no grass.
Yeah,
and
you can't. And the long-haired dog's off like a dirty shirt.
Well, that dog's going to get charred. Okay?
I think it got away. I think
it got away. It looked like it had the advantage of being a little bit stronger and shorter.
Do you think it's a carnivore, the horse, or omnivore, or herbivore? No grass.
Shows you when you're hungry, you'll eat anything, even a bull mastiff.
Yeah.
Anyway, watch the full unabridged version on www.goldcircle.co.za. You'll be able to get the full story. And we're going to move on and see what was the plum of the week.
3 lengths now from in second, Iron Trip, and then Gala, Rose and Bloom. Down the inside is Gold Dawn, and running on now, Soul of Wit from the back end, Rings and Things. Rose and Bloom and Soul of Wit running on strongly towards the inside. Here comes Pierce Stratum on Rose in Bloom to pick up the advantage from Rings and Things, and Rose in Bloom goes on strongly at the best form in the race and wins by 3/4. Rings and Things second, Soul of Wit third, Gold Dawn, then Gala, Iron Trip in. They followed by La Bastille, Doctor's Answer, and further back.
Well, there you go. Joey Ramsden's got 8 horses in Johannesburg. Now, remember when they were last there, Elson was running the show there.
They won a Group 1 last time.
They won the Group 1 with Attenborough.
That's right.
This was the right horse.
First and third in the Group 1, that's right.
And I can tell you why. It went off at 7-1 on
Big price.
Itabet. Huge price. Because Mike de Kock had Gala in the race, which looked like a good thing. And they came out absolutely transparent, said that they've got bigger races. They had to give her a gallop, and they decided to run her here rather than actually go, are you okay?
Yeah, Rose and Bloom, eh?
Yeah. So Rose and Bloom looked like the business. Pierce Stratum aboard it. Once you see Pierce Stratum on one of Joe Ramsden's horses, you had to know. He's never ridden in the last 12 months for Joey Ramsden, and it just shows you. We're going to take a quick break.
Best race time odds, transparency of betting markets, friendly and super efficient staff, the ability to negotiate odds, a full service tote with no limits, which is very important for exotic players, loyalty program, speedy withdrawal of funds, full odds, multiple betting, and excellent in-play markets. These are just some of the many reasons that come to mind as to why I believe, as a serious punter, there is no online operator in South Africa that can realistically come close to matching what Interbet has to offer. Put simply, there's no other site like it, and the ability to negotiate odds adds to my fun and enjoyment. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Current Affairs, where we're going to talk about the Wonder Horse Winx. She ran again this weekend, and we've got racing news as well, James, and interesting to see the racing overseas. I saw that horses were retired, champions were retired because of injuries, but there was some great racing in Europe.
Yeah, let's go through them. Saxon Warrior.
Yeah.
He did a tendon in the Champions Stakes when he got beaten, Irish Champions Stakes, he got beaten by Roaring Lion again.
Yeah, Roaring Lion.
He's probably the biggest flop of the year.
Well, he won the Guineas. He won the Racing Post, James.
Yeah,
he won the Guineas. Yeah, he won the Guineas, so he's a multiple Group 1 winner.
Yeah, but they were talking about him as winning the Triple Crown.
Yeah,
and I think that O'Brien admitted in the write-up this morning that he probably went too far with this horse, with the Derby. They don't think he's a deep impact. They don't think he stayed that far. And but he's now done attendance, so he'll be going to stud. I'd like to see him in South Africa.
You would love to see him in South Africa. James, on the same day they retired Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
She did a joint. She came to win, she swerved in, and she ran second, and they retired her. Fantastic filly.
Well, Sione, who won the race, Carl Berg trains it, And he had a double Group 1 success on the weekend, which is incredible for a trainer like Carl Burke. Remember, Carl Burke a couple of years ago was warned off by the BHA. There was all types of things going on with him. They've been chasing him around the block.
So it's James, a good week for Carl Berg and Carl Berger?
Yeah, Carl Berger and Carl Berg.
Very good for the namesakes,
For the Burgers and the Bergs.
The Burgers, the Bergs, yeah. Well done to all of them.
And they haven't got, they're not 2 letters to their names.
No.
No, but PJ McDonough, the jockey, he's Irish.
Okay.
His name's PJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the Irish,
what
the
does
Scots,
PJ
very
stand
similar.
for?
I'd hate to guess.
In South Africa.
I remember the funniest one I ever heard was when there was a rugby match and the Kiwis were talking about the South Africans had a guy called F.A. Meyering.
Yeah.
And F.A. Meyering went hurt the other weekend. I think it was one of those Kiwi guys said, what does the F.A. stand for? And the guy said, sweet. Sweet. So I was really impressed with that. But yeah, JP, there's a couple of guys who do it, but the Scarps love it.
Yeah, we're actually talking about injured jockeys, horrific fall on Sunday. And we hope those jockeys are okay.
Yeah, I believe for I gleaned from the track this morning, Hewittson's hurt his other knee. I think Stewie could be fine. But I saw the Pens. There was a play of the Pens. I saw Warren Kennedy limping off. King in the Mill, I saw him get back on. So it was quite a tough weekend for the riders.
And unfortunately, we ended up with jockey refusing to ride in the last.
Yeah, I want to find out more about that.
So the horse had to be scratched. I thought that's
yeah, that's poor. Yeah.
That's really poor.
I know there are a lot of injured jockeys, but that horse should have had a rider.
No, you've got to ride. If you're a professional rider, you've got to ride in races.
Especially get a horse get scratched, prepared for a race. And yeah, we'll find out more about that one of these days. Just staying with Ireland, we saw the St. Leger.
Flag of Honour.
Great race. Now, Flag of Honour shortened dramatically for the Melbourne Cup. Flag of Honour beat, I wrote down the
Trove. Yeah,
the Camelot. And it was a great race because it came in and Ryan Moore rode the winner. And now the Stallion has now won as much as Saddle as well. As he could Saddle as well. Galileo, 67 wins. Now, the leader...
73 Group 1.
73. They're 11 behind Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel's 84.
Okay.
And Galileo's cruising.
All right, but the interesting thing was that I saw some footage on YouTube of Ryan Moore and another jockey running straight after the St. Leger to go and ride their next ride.
Yes.
Jump in the helicopter and go. Yes. And where they landed the next race course and running in their silks, pulled on the silks on the helicopter. That's professional.
Yeah, that's professional. They were in such a rush. It was after the St. Leger, in England.
Yeah.
And they interviewed the winning trainer, Aidan O'Ryan, on the course, crossing the course to the helicopter. Yeah, they had to get rolling. So they won them both.
Yeah. And the O'Briens ran first and second in the Irish St. Leger. Joseph trains horse and ran second.
That's right.
He beat his dad.
In the Derby, the Irish Derby. Yeah, that's right. The Irish Derby.
So they're having a full go.
But they stayed those Galileos, James.
Yeah, they stay like unwanted nephews.
Oh, like poor relatives, and they really do. Relatives. Yeah, they stay. So it was a weekend with those mixed emotions, with top horses retiring and top horses coming through.
Just talking about top horses having a wonderful weekend, Dubawi, okay.
Superb.
Had 2 Group 1 winners and 4 Group winners over the weekend. And Charlie Appleby, Godolphin, 3 Group winners. So he had a fantastic weekend as well in France and in Europe. So that was just fantastic for them. Justify?
Yeah. It's going to stand at Ashford, I think.
Coolmore, Ashford, in America,
right.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
You know? It's owned by the China Horse Club, and
that's right. And they're sticking their hands up at the sales.
And Windstar own a share in. Now they've got a farm on their own.
That's
and they rather go to Coolmore. It just shows you, the power of the mares. They want to be able.
Well, Coolmore sold Winks.
Yeah.
Coolmore sold Winks for 230 at Magic Millions.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Winks.
Yeah, just talk about. We're talking about Randwick and Sydney. Today or tomorrow, they got 14 juvenile barrier trials. And the reason for these barrier trials, they have their listed race at the end of the month. Can you believe it, James? The listed races for 2 years.
14 juvenile barrier trials. We haven't even got juvenile race until November.
No, that's right. And, they advertise all the new stallions who are going to have horses trialling. So the breeders know. Listen,
so there'll be a couple of American.
They can say, these. Well, no, there's Rubik and horses like that. Remember our mate's horse, David Raphael's horse. He owned Rubik.
Yeah,
and that's trialing. That's with Coolmore, and people are all excited about these new stallions that are trialing in Randwick. So they're getting stuck in. And as I say, the breeders love it because some of them are still deciding what to do. And they say, "Whoa, this is quick," you know.
Yeah. Well, talking about the breeding horses, Keeneland September sales have just been. How was that?
Yeah. I saw Uncle Mo went for $1 million. It was a very nice
1.6 and 1 million.
Yeah,
but
the one in China Horse Club bought it. Mick Flanagan was talking about it. He said we had to go a little bit further, but it ticked all the boxes and we were very big in them. And today you've got to pay these fees for horses, you know.
And the top stallion was Warfront. He had 11 progeny on the sale. Sold for average $880,000 American dollars.
Wow.
That's 13, 14 million.
Staying with stallions, Delaga Deluxe has moved to Queensland. It's now going to a place called Ridden Thoroughbreds. Delaga Deluxe, who was a Group 1 winner in this country, has had 36 winners. The best is a listed horse called Casa Delaga.
He was with Newgate, wasn't he?
Yeah, Newfield or Newgate.
Newgate.
Yeah, it was Newgate. Definitely Newgate. The Kellys.
Newgate, yeah.
He was with the Kellys, that's right.
Yeah.
So he's moved.
Yeah.
You were speaking, before we show everyone Winks and talk about Winks, we can do that later. You were telling me about an article you read about a guy who was having
Dave Johnson.
Dave Johnson, that's right. Tell the public, this is interesting.
Dave Johnson loves racing, but he works for a radio station in New York City, and a Sirius radio, and he wrote an op-ed letter to the New York Times. He's been a subscriber to the New York Times for 45 years. Every morning he gets the New York Times and he reads it. Okay. And he said he was absolutely horrified a couple of weekends ago when over 4 days, from Saturday to Monday, Friday to Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there was not one article about the Travers weekend at Saratoga.
Jeez, it's a big
now that's
race.
New York, Saratoga's upper state New York.
Yes, that's right.
And the Travers is one of the great weekends of racing that there is. He said there wasn't one article on the sporting page. He said they had articles about the Peruvian hockey captain, about people that had no right being there. And they got the greatest American race day, one of the greatest American race couple of weeks.
James, you know what amazes me is that they still get attendances for these big meetings, so they're full house. Don't you think it falls on the operators to market them?
Well, he says that they had 45,000 paying people on Travers Day, paying people. No. And he said not one article in the New York Times, which is the doyen of newspapers in America, on Travers weekend. He says there's a problem. He said the problem's either with the New York Times or it's with the administrators.
Yeah, they've got to market.
Now, exactly. And the point is that you market, but you're marketing in all the wrong places. Here's a guy who works for a radio station, likes his horse racing, and can't read it in his local morning newspaper. We have exactly the same problem here.
James, geez, I think I might be repeating what I said, but I met with Milan Govakar. He's the head man with Gartner, travels all over the world lecturing, and I spoke to him and I said, how does a small operation differ to, say, Shell? He said, there's 3 tenets you have to know in a business. Tenet 1, marketing. Tenet 2, marketing. Tenet 3, marketing. Any major business, minor business, anything, market. And he said, how many people do it? And this is a classic example, James. 8 pages.
I was amazed. Between 4 and 8 pages, he read through them. He told us what they were. They were showing some woman winning the LPGA that's Canadian. You know, it took up half a page. Yeah, they've got American born and bred product, Saratoga, Travers Stakes, greatest weekend around. Listen, we get July.
Just to pick on that, we used to be really poor here. And Gold Circle had a determined drive with the press. You know, we have the Mercury Sprint, we have the Rising Sun, we have the Daily News. And now we get good coverage now.
Yeah, the Post.
Johannesburg gets wonderful coverage. Is it the Citizen?
Citizen are fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Cape Town, the best centre to race. You're lucky if you get the fields.
Yeah, Michael Clover writes good articles. I read them, but they use them up here.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a big problem, and certainly there should be a national budget for advertising.
Absolutely.
And it should come out of whatever the...
You have to market, sell ourselves. We've got customers out there.
Exactly.
We have to sell ourselves.
Okay, Duke of Marmalade had 37 stakes winners. 37th, he won a listed race in Rome, so he's on his way, doing very well.
Yeah.
What else did I have here that was... Havana Grey. Carl Burke, he had 2 Group 1 winners. Did I tell you about that? He won the Daringstown Filly Stakes with Havana Grey, which is a first Group 1 winner for Havana Gold. Nice grey horse, lovely. So watch it win. Let's go and talk about Winks. Because Winks...
Yeah, but you drew up some beautiful stats. I didn't know many of them about this. I knew quite a bit about her until I...
Well, 20 things that you needed to know. There were 20 things that you needed to know about Winks.
Okay. And I knew a lot of them, but some of them you'd never know.
Well, tell us.
The ones I didn't know, which different jockeys have ridden it.
Yeah, 5 different jockeys.
I didn't know that she, after 9 wins in her streak, she had arthroscopic surgery on her ankle.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know which courses she'd won at, and over what distances she'd won at, and collectively how many lengths she's won by.
80 lengths, okay?
Yes.
Combined winning margins through her winning streak is 80 lengths. Her greatest margin was 8 lengths when she won the Cox Plate. Okay, and then
the closest was 0.20 twice
in 2015 and 2017. 0.20. This is an amazing racehorse.
Sorry to interrupt you. The point that you brought up earlier, when James and I managed to read through this, he came with these 20 facts about Winks, and they were outstanding facts. But the one that I think you highlighted was how you give horses a chance to mature. She won her first 2 races as a 2-year-old, and I think her first as a 3-year-old. Then she went on a 7-run losing streak, or 6 or 5.
7-run losing streak.
Early 3-year-old.
7 races to win her next start.
Yeah, and that's where Chris Waller has proven to be a master. He gave her time.
Well, that's what, and you'll see every year they've run exactly the same program with her. For the last 3 years, they've run the same program. George Main, the Winks Stakes has started, and they build up. They give her, she'd never won a barrier trial.
You know, she's run second, but she's running plenty. She runs in. If there's a barrier trial, she's there.
She's never won a barrier trial, this filly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about her dam, because it's very interesting to talk about her dam. Her name's Vegas Showgirl. She won 7 races in New Zealand.
Yes, I know.
Stakes winning 2-year-old, okay? She was sold as a breeding prospect by Dormello Stud at Magic Millions. Now, Magic Millions runs through this. They're our sponsors, so we've got to give them credit. They run through this whole seam of Winks. Okay?
That's right, they
2008, she was sold there. National Broodmare sale, where John Camilleri bought...
What's his surname, James?
Camilleri. Okay. Listen, he's Italian. Okay. Calm Santry bought it.
Oh, yeah, he's from, of course, Kumo.
455,000 he paid for her.
Paid for the mare?
For the mare, yeah. So she's obviously a hell of a mare.
Talented.
Now, she's had 7 foals to date, okay?
Yes.
El Divino is a group-winning 2-year-old who died last year after track work. And none of their win-win leader, Miss Atom Bomb, trailed and never raced. And she's also had one that was bought this year, which went straight to stud. It ran. It never even had a barrier trial.
Amazing, eh? She cost 230, and she was bought at the Magic Millions.
Yeah.
And I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
And James, she has then turned it all around. But should we go have a look at this race, James? And then even the jockey, just before we talk about the jockey, Hugh Bowman said for a stride or 2, because they'd gone hard, he thought, I read a write-up, and he said, then she kicked in. She won by 4.
The dam has gone to Deep Impact this year.
Oh, okay.
Gone to Japan.
Have Kumo still got it?
7. No, this guy's got it. What's his name? John
Camilleri or whatever it is, yeah.
And the other one was amazing, that she's also produced a colt, the dam of a Schnitzel colt named Boulder City, who topped the 2016 Australia Easter yearling sales. You see, they went to the wrong sale. They should have gone to Magic Millions.
That's gone into training.
At 2.3 million, it was purchased by Gay Waterhouse and Blue Sky Bloodstock. He was retired to stud this year without a race or a trial.
That is very cheap, that's sure.
He's a schnitzel. Okay.
Huge, champion stallion.
2.3 million, he's gone straight to stud. I remember a horse like that. That was, I think they paid $12 million, $11.8 million. The Green Monkey, wasn't that his name? Yeah, the Green Monkey.
Yeah, by Forestry, I think.
No, it wasn't by Forestry.
Wasn't it?
It was by a champion stallion. I think it might have been by Sadler's Wells. Okay. And it went straight to stud, never produced anything as stud either. It couldn't run out of its shadow. Okay.
Let's go the race.
Yeah, let's go watch Winks, because
in the orange colours as aces are David Payne's horse, runs fourth.
Well, that's having a prep run. That's getting ready for the big 2,400 metre races. Might even be going for the Cup. Let's go and see.
And they're off and racing. Winks has jumped out midfield, and Ace High is a bit of a surprise leader early. Religify quickly into stride going to second. Then came Lure Remain from It Somewhat, Who Shot the Barman. He's a length and a half in front of Winks, who really relaxes back in the field, and Egg Tart will sit behind her. So Ace High jumped well, but Religify goes through on the inside, and Religify is going to head off Ace High with Lure Remain riding for cover in third spot. A couple after the Sydney Cup winner, Who Shot the Barman, is nice and fresh up in fourth position, followed then by It Somewhat. Then came Winks, and Egg Tart is last of all, about 7 lengths first to last, and Religify leads by 3/4 to Ace High. Lure Remain travelling strongly in third. Then Who Shot the Barman a length further back to It Somewhat. Egg Tart trying to improve now, and Winks is sitting back last. She's 7 lengths off the lead, and quite happy to stay there for the time being. Oh, now she peels to the outside at the 600 metres, and she's starting a run. It's Religify in front from Ace High under the pump. Lure Remain goes to third from Who Shot the Barman. Winks is on the tail of Lure Remain into the straight. Egg Tart trying to push her underneath, and It's Somewhat's last. It's Religify in front. Lure Remain goes to him. Winks is 2 off. Then Ace High and Egg Tart. Lure Remain making a bold beat for victory, but Winks is starting to cut him down. Winks moves up on the outside, takes the lead, kicks away. He's 3 in a row. It's her birthday, and what a way to celebrate. Long live the Queen. Winks by 4 lengths to Lure Remain. Egg Tart third, then Ace High.
Well, remember, this is not even her best trip, a mile, and that's why she has even pocket power, flat spots.
The shortest distance she won over?
1,400.
5.5 furlong.
5.5 furlongs.
As a 2-year-old.
As a 2-year-old, yeah. I mean, in her streak, the shortest distance that she's won over is 1,400 metres, 7 furlongs. But it's mind-blowing. You know, there's always knockers. There are people that turn around and say, she's beating nothing, she's beating the same horse, she beats him effortlessly.
She runs on October the 6th for the big fans out there in the Turnbull Stakes, Group 1.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. We thought that was wonderful to watch, and we'll be back with your call. Right, well, you had Monty Roberts last week. You get him again this week, because this is the most amazing bit of footage. It's all to do with Lomatas, as we said, and Lomatas is a sire of our very own Silvano. This just shows what a man who knows what he's doing with horses can do. Enjoy every moment of it. We know that it runs just over 20 minutes, so you'll have to just wait a little bit for your next race in USA. Until next week, from us, have a good one.
Walter J. Jacobs was a man with a vision. He single-handedly transformed the small coffee distillery his uncle had founded into Germany's foremost coffee-producing company. Walter Jacobs had a vision in his private life as well. His own pedigree being full of horse people, he in the 1960s bought a stud in North Germany where heavy horses had been raced before. Experts dismissed his chances of breeding fast thoroughbred horses there, as the soil was thought to be too sandy and poor. Mr. Jacobs would prove the opposite. A basis for his overwhelming success would be a shrewd acquisition of some broodmares at the sales in Newmarket. In 1988, one of his broodmares gave birth to a little chestnut colt that was to be named Lomitas. His looks and conformation immediately raised some hopes. After growing to become a 2-year-old, he was duly put into training with young and ambitious Bremen-bound trainer Andreas Wöhler. Andreas was handed a huge chance here. Due to the untimely death of his father, he was forced to take over a big training establishment much earlier than he would have wanted. Andreas was only in his 2nd year as a public trainer when Lomitas arrived in his yard in the end of 1989. At the age of 2, Lomitas was entered up for a juvenile event in Hanover. It was then that the first hint of a serious problem would start to unearth. Lomitas would not enter the horse box, as simple as that. So he did not run. Lomitas was entered up again for a little maiden race. He was trained the normal way to enter his transport, was driven to the racetrack and won. Lomitas was quick to establish himself as a leading 2-year-old in Germany in 1990. He had 2 starts and won them both, writing his name firmly on the list of winter favorites for the German Derby of 1991.
Wird angegriffen von Lomitas. Iris Stew an der Innenseite in der Bahnmitte Lomitas. Und Lomitas geht nach vorne. Lomitas führt gleich mit 2 Längen vor Iris Stew. Lomitas klar vorne jetzt schon vor Iris Stew. Dahinter kommt Fairy Dancer und Ignis Basualdo. Aber Lomitas ist klar vorne. Lomitas löst sich hier auf klaren Vorsprung. Lomitas ganz klar vorne. Lomitas klar vorne. Gewinnt den Arrak Juniorenpreis. Überlegen vor Fairy Dancer dann. Iris Stew, Basualdo, Lonely Love.
An ambitious campaign was planned for him, with the German Derby being the main target for Lomitas' 3-year-old campaign. Having practiced to enter the starting stalls at home, nobody did see any problems arising as Lomitas was driven to Krefeld for his first race of the season. In the Busch Memorial, it took the handlers 20 minutes to finally persuade Lomitas to enter the stalls.
Erfolgt. An der Innenseite hat Aufsteiger das Kommando übernommen. Aufsteiger. Das Feld ist jetzt ausgangs des Schlussbogens und erreicht in diesem Moment den Einlauf. Etwas mehr als 400 Meter sind zurückzulegen. Das Feld ist in breiter Formation. An der Innenseite Aufsteiger. In der Bahnmitte kommt jetzt Lomitas. Und Lomitas geht nach vorne. Lomitas ist vorne. Ganz außen wird jetzt Bordiger Blues eingesetzt. Aber Lomitas ist vorne. Lomitas führt. Lomitas vor ihnen De Niro. Lomitas vor De Niro und Quaglino. Lomitas ist vorne. Lomitas. Lomitas führt mit 2 Längen, mit 3 Längen. Lomitas. Lomitas löst sich hier. Lomitas gewinnt leicht vor Quaglino. Dann De Niro vor Chrom und
Classic glory loomed for the first time as the German 2000 Guineas was firmly on the agenda now, and Lomitas was driven to Cologne with high hopes. What followed was nothing short of a disaster. This time, 20 minutes were not enough to press Lomitas into the stalls. The horse had made up his mind. He would not enter the stalls. With the major Derby trials and the Derby itself only weeks away, it became clear that this problem would not just vanish. The horse, for whatever reason, did not want to cooperate anymore, and man would have to go down a different path in search for a solution. At this point, a certain Monty Roberts enters the story. He had just given a highly publicized show to the Queen of England, who in turn was deeply impressed by Monty's different approach to communicate with even the most unruly horses. Nobody had ever heard of him in Germany, and whispering to horses was certainly different to what horsemen had been doing to horses so far. But Monty got results and had a very good reputation. There was nothing to lose. It would be back to the drawing board for horse and handler, and Lomitas and his English work rider Simon Stokes had to go back to A and learn to communicate. The Monty way. Simon can recall his first lesson very clearly. It was a dark and rainy day, typical of a German summer, when Lomitas did get his first join-up lesson. Monty took him to a covered hall and closed the doors. Man and horse stayed in for 4 hours.
Not knowing who he is, what he does. And he came and had 2 weeks to get Lomitas right before the derby. So we were under pressure. And they bonded, and Monty did a join-up, which I'd never seen before in my life, and communicated, and the horse loved it.
As the derby drew closer, Lomitas was sent to the last possible trial, a listed race on his local track Bremen. All watched in awe how a calm and reassuring Monty Roberts, being flown in by the Walter Jacobs especially for the race, took Lomitas' head collar and slowly walked towards the starting stalls. 10,000 racegoers caught the moment and cheered up a horse who had just, purely and simply, entered the starting stall.
200 Meter vor der Linie, Lomitas an der Spitze. Lomitas und dahinter ist Hondo Mondo mit Le Jardin. Lomitas ist vorne. Hondo Mondo kämpft mit Le Jardin. Lomitas vorne und Hondo Mondo kommt nicht ganz heran. Auf den letzten Meter wird er noch schnell. Aber Lomitas bleibt vorne, gewinnt mit knapp einer Länge vor Hondo Mondo. Le Jardin, dahinter großer Abstand bis zu Coralito und Northern Star.
Simon, after getting lessons and joining up as well, was appointed as Lomitas' guardian and continued the special training. It was all new to him, like going back to school, and a totally new approach of dealing with horses for him as well. The Derby. Lomitas was calm and content as he walked in the paddock and cantered down to the start, ridden by young English jockey Terry Hellier, accompanied by Monty and Simon, as well as a nervous Andreas Wöhler, the trainer. Lomitas behaved impeccably, as if there never was a problem, but a small but significant hiccup occurred yet again. This time when Lomitas wanted to jump out of the box. Barely visible for the normal onlookers, Lomitas' door opened slightly prior to all the other boxes. And to save the day, Andreas Wöhler, in his nervousness, jumped forward to close it again, in a vain attempt to help. The derby was underway, though. The race developed nicely for Lomitas, and the jockey was able to settle him. He started to make a move on the outside once they rounded the final bend. But the danger was already there, looming right before him in the shape of yet another chestnut colt, ridden by a very young and not yet famous Frankie Dettori. The horse's name was Temporal. Temporal came into the straight full of running, and even though Lomitas tried in vain to close the gap and go past, he was never able to do so. Feeling the jockey's whip for the first time in his life, Lomitas did not stay straight, and when he changed gear it was too late. He came second. Lomitas would clean sweep the remaining Group 1 races in Germany, simply running away with them. The Großer Preis von Baden, with a quality field assembled before the start, again in hot and humid weather. This time Lomitas would not simply win, he would destroy the field. Running away from them, being so superior that the commentator was lost for words, calling just
Lomitas, 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 überlegen vor Temporal. Dritter ist weit, vierter Cresus, fünfter Ultop, die deutschen Pferde alle vorne, eine super Leistung.
Lomitas then won the Großer Preis von Europa in Cologne, and there was a lot of talk whether he should be sent to Paris for a crack in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. His wise owner did not want to rush a young horse, assuming there would be another edition to tackle Europe's most famous Wait for Age event. Lomitas was officially rated third best 3-year-old in Europe and was voted Horse of the Year in Germany. Lomitas wintered well and ran 2 very good races in 1992, though got beat once. He came back to Hamburg to erase his second place in the Derby out of the heads of the Hamburg crowd. And nobody did see the dark cloud that was to come nearer with every day, putting Lomitas' racing career and ultimately his life in balance. Some time after Hamburg, a letter reached Walter Jacobs, claiming a huge amount of money and threatening to kill the horse if the claim was not met. People surely would not kill an innocent horse, but action was taken as Lomitas got a night watchman to protect his stable box regularly, and the police was informed as well. Lomitas' training regime went ahead as usual and was seemingly uninterrupted. And he was prepared for another crack in the Düsseldorf Group 1, the Preis der Berliner Bank. Lomitas appeared calm and tranquil in the paddock, but his colt failed to sparkle that day. Lomitas was never traveling. He trailed in beaten oh so many lengths, and something was clearly horribly wrong. An anonymous letter followed the very next day, basically stating that this was the proof that we can get to the horse at any time, and the run in Düsseldorf was just a warning. Worse would follow if the claim would not be met. A post-race examination by the vets showed unusually high blood counts in the horse's liver and kidney, proof that some poisonous substance has indeed been given to the horse. Lomitas' life clearly was in danger. Very shortly after the Düsseldorf disaster, Simon received a confidential phone call from Mr. Jacobs. Lomitas clearly was not safe where he was, with danger all around him, and the claim was taken very seriously now. Lomitas had been poisoned, and Walter Jacobs was not prepared to just wait and see. He understood that he had to react. A private plane was hired, and Lomitas, police escorted, was brought to the airport in the early hours of the given day. He would be gone and be safe before anybody would notice, and because the whole departure was treated with the utmost secrecy, not even the trainer was informed, no chance was given to any wrongdoer who might come out of the yard itself to do further damage to the horse. Lomitas and Simon boarded the plane in Bremen, and as if the horse sensed the situation, he fully cooperated, never flinched, and entered the plane with no hesitation, no sign of his old fears. The flight took them to England. In the hectic days that preceded this flight and the escape, out-of-the-country contact was made, through Monty Roberts to Lester Pickett's yard, and it was to his premises that Lomitas and Simon went for rescue. Lomitas would be given a new name, Pirelli, so nobody was to know his real identity. He would be just another chestnut racehorse with his English work rider. It sounded simple, but was a risk, yet the plan worked. Simon Stokes' diary notes an extra special workout in the middle of September '92, the day Lomitas gave indication that he started to pull all the trouble behind him. He worked like a proper racehorse that day. Everybody could see the progress the horse was making, and it would be only a matter of time before facts would be leaking out. Connections were keen not to reveal their true identity still, and it became clear that Lomitas had to move on. He was bred to be a racehorse, and his development and improvement showed that after all the threats and troubles, Lomitas still wanted to be one. But coming back to Germany was out of question, and England was too nearby, and not deemed to be safe. So Lomitas and Simon would move again, would board yet another plane that was to bring them both further away from criminal intent, further away from the danger. They would fly to America. Monty Roberts' part in this move cannot be underestimated. He arranged the horse to be put in proper training over in the States, and chose Ron McAnally, a top racehorse trainer based in Santa Anita, California. Lomitas would have a job again. He would be a racehorse once more, as connections were keen to gain reward for the stolen time. Lomitas' story does not end here. He was trained and did run in America. He raced 4 times, winning 1 small race, but ultimately paid the price for the drugs and poison in his body system, as his feet could not be cured properly and caused him trouble and pain. He was still ill. He needed a rest, so his life as a racehorse came to the end, but he was not disgraced. It was time for Lomitas to come home. It's the dream of every breeder to breed a horse good enough to come back to his home soil as a stallion, being able to pass on his superior genes to further generations. Lomitas was the champion Walter Jacobs had hoped for, and Lomitas did come back with his head held high. Lomitas started to cover his first season at his homestead Fairhof in 1994, closing a circle. He was born and raised here, took his first ungainly steps with his tiny hoofs when he was born on the farm back in 1988, fully 6 years before. Lomitas wasted no time in proving just how good he was in his second career as well. His first crop included champion race horses Silvano, Belenos and Sumitas, Arlington Million winner, Derby winner, and German 2000 Guineas winner in between them, and he has never looked back since. Lomitas died in 2010, aged 22. And what a legacy he left. It was his daughter Daydream who, among many top-class races, stormed home to win the Arc of 2011, thus winning the race he himself was denied to contest. His memories are golden, and he is much missed.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.